Meanwhile, on the other side of town, while Rock was handling that BI, Marvin was handling his BI, Get to checking on the nephew. Busted up in his crib. Last time Lil Player ran into Marvin, Marvin checked him for stealing drugs. Last time Marvin had that gun on him, about 20 ounces of that white stuff fell out his drawers. This time, damn near 20 ounces of that brown stuff fell out. Is it drawers or draws? I don't know, but damn near 20 ounces of that brown fell out this time. Goddamn Mr. Hanky. Marvin put the pressure on Lil Homie. Had the gun all up in his grill. At some point realizes he ain't have nothing to do with it. Lil Player like, oh no, what happened to Clarabelle? Marvin befuddled as a mofo. He like, Clarabelle? What the is a Clarabelle? What is that, a cow or some Lil Player tell Marvin that's Sonny and Richard's daughter. Marvin get all soft-hearted, cause Marvin a killer with a conscience. He get to apologizing for every goddamn thing. Like it was all his fault. Get a little sentimental, Realizes little Clarabelle is now an orphan. He pieces up out of there on a goddamn sad note. Get to thinking about another orphan. One who calls him Uncle Marvin. Makes his way down to see Early Tyler. Asks if he know anything about the Chinese spot hit. Early get on that Helen Keller. He don't know didn't hear ain't see but he saw that cash Marvin threw his way. In case he remembers something, he saw that shit. Marvin asks about Early's aunt. Apparently she does some work with some child services. Early says, yeah, and from that discussion looks like a call is made. Also looks like an address is retrieved. Cause soon we find Marvin making his way over to Lil Amber school. Lil Amber, Gerald's daughter from last season. Same old G. Marvin catches her sight. He like, Amber. She like, Uncle Marvin. One of the best feelings in the world is when a child see you out and about. One of your nieces, nephews, or maybe one of your kids. A kid like between 3 and 8. A prepubescent little player. Or playette. Hit you with that, daddy. I digress like a mofo. Amber and Marvin have a little moment. The daughter that survived Gerald and all his BS. The other daughter ain't make it under Gerald's fiendish watch. Marvin hits Amber off with a little package, a little letter. Cause Marvin a caring mofo. Goddamn school officials was keenly watching his ass, wasn't they? Like, who this mofo? Security? We might have a little situation here. Goddamn principal was outside and shit. Amber and Marvin got a little hug in. The goddamn school superintendent intended to come over and see what the was up. Like, what the is going on here? This motherfucker just pulled up. It was cool till Marvin put them hands on Lil Amber. I gave her that embrace. They like, Something don't look right over this. Came and asked Amber's ass if she was all right and all of that.
Everything all right, Amber?
Marvin like, I'm her godfather. Haven't seen her in a minute. Lady superintendent hit his ass with a head nod. She ain't even verbally acknowledge his ass. She was just like, Like, where was your ass when they was looking for folks to step up and take care of Amber's ass? You know, isn't that what godfathers do? Shortly after he pieced up out of there, at some point he and Lil Sis Rock go to visit Joaquin, you know, to see about some drugs. They up in Joaquin's spot sipping a little wine, you know, working things out like Teddy Pendergrass, you know. We can sip a little wine, work things out. We can work things out. Y'all know what the f I'm talking about. Now Joaquin done told him last season that he was done supplying H to Queens. And he ain't seemed too thrilled to be repeating his goddamn ass, did he? They like, well, what about some of your peers? You know, some other folk we might could get that package from. And he'd give him Tremont name. You know, from down in them good B-more parts. Them good B-more parts. Most likely his ass was from the west side of Baltimore. You know, if you know what I know. They like, oh, we know Tremont. We still owe his ass. And owe his ass they do. You know, how he moved on and moved on from they ass. Appears Tremont still re-up with Joaquin. And just might be Rock's ticket to moving on from Quan. Hold up, need to take a little re-up, you know, need to re-up to turn up. 1 sec.
One's for the money, two's for the weed spots. Undercover cops follow me, though they need not. It's like I'm Rick James, caught in the mix, rocking thick chains. From hood to hood, ain't shit changed.